That indescribable feeling we get when the lights begin to dim. And we go somewhere we've never been before.
We're in the golden age of cinema. Everyone knows it. Just open one of your streaming services and you'll find the top watched movies are A Shark's Tale,
Grown Ups 2,
and also probably something called The True Stories of the Top 10 Most Murdered Women.
That's a good one.
In the theaters, you can see whatever your heart desires.
As long as your heart desires reboots, sequels, prequels, and live-action adaptations.
See, in the recent past, Hollywood executives figured out the fatal flaw in movies. They end. And then you have to go back to your life. You grow old, you owe taxes, your childhood dog is dead, and your parents are divorced. But what if the movies never end? Would you be young forever? Maybe. Today we're talking Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is back, everybody.
I'm a baby. Goo goo gaga. Please feed me my slop.
The juice is loose.
After Dietz family patriarch Charles suddenly dies, Lydia, Delia, and Lydia's daughter Astrid return home to sleepy Winter River, Connecticut. Still haunted by visions of Beetlejuice, Lydia is dragged back into the trickster demon's realm when Astrid accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. And then Willem Dafoe's a cop or something.
Michael Keaton is back as Beetlejuice, and he hasn't missed a step. He's still very charming. He's an incredible actor. A lot of the practical effects were refreshing and I think underused. The lighting was good. The costumes were neat, but I kind of thought the movie stunk.
What a bummer to have to be like, well, the lighting was good.
Yeah.
I did like the lighting.
At the beginning of this movie, it feels like the story is going to be that Beetlejuice has to battle his estranged wife. Tim Burton shoehorned his girlfriend into this movie by making her Beetlejuice's antagonist, which I think is egregious. I don't think you should just be sticking your girlfriend and stuff.
I think it's nice.
The movie opens with Beetlejuice's ex-dead wife reassembling herself and sucking the life force from a janitor in the afterlife.
I was excited because I thought, wow, we're going to learn more about Beetlejuice. It's going to be more focused on Beetlejuice, and this is going to be his conflict. Obviously, if he's battling something, it's got to be on par or even more evil than he is. So you're like, wow, this is what this movie's about. Is it? No.
But then we return to the life of Lydia Dietz, and we find out that she is working for a television network as a ghost hunter, and she is in a bizarre relationship with the producer of the show. And you think, okay, we got two plot lines going here simultaneously.
That's enough. Don't do any more.
But after her dad dies, and she goes back home to reunite with her family and settle his affairs, it starts to get convoluted. And by the time her daughter meets a boy who turns out to be a ghost, you're like, there's too much shit happening here. Also, we return to the original plot line, which is Beetlejuice is trying to marry Lydia so that he can escape the afterlife. I think they just married 10 different scripts together. You can have an A and B plot, but a C, D, E, F, by the end of it, you're like, who gives a shit? And honestly, it's my fault. It's my fault for going. I should have stayed home, watched the original.
Shame on us for dreaming. I've seen some people criticize the fact that Lydia becomes like a ghost hunter, but I have a lot of issues with the movie. I like that because it's sort of like she's now a pill-addicted sellout exploiting her only true talent. She's not the idealized teenager she once was.
I have a problem with these coming of age stories where a young person kind of evolves and then it ends on this high note where they have their whole lives ahead of them and they've learned a lot. And then we revisit these characters years later and they're divorced and their life sucks.
I love it. I find it relatable.
Oh, come on. Indiana Jones is elderly and his son's dead. And Luke Skywalker lives on an island sucking down blue milk. It's just sad. So the actor who played the dad in the original movie turned out to be, and they had to do something about that in this movie. So they killed him off. They had him die from a shark attack. So a shark bit off the top part of his body. He's walking around the whole movie without an upper torso, which brings more attention to the fact that the actor did not return for this movie. It just kind of reminds you every time this pair of legs is on screen that something happened.
A pedophile. What the movie does with the Maitlands, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis's characters, is make them such an afterthought that they're half a line. At one point, she goes, the Maitlands passed on through a loophole. That's it. And then they keep going. You could have done that with the pedophile guy. They try to recreate the Harry Belafonte Deo scene, the iconic scene from the 1988 movie, using Richard Harris's MacArthur Park.
Someone left the cake out in the rain.
And it just doesn't hit as hard as the calypso music from the first movie. They should have stayed with the same motif musically.
By that point in the movie, you are so checked out. You can hear the song by Dumbledore himself, by the way. That's who's singing that song. Richard Harris.
What?
The original Dumbledore.
Someone left the cake out in the rain.
By that point, you're so checked out, you don't remember who's mad at who's good, who's bad, what conflicts have been resolved. They're doing the same like possession dance, and you just can't help but think about the coffee pot you might have left on and all the money you spent. 2 tickets cost $50 now.
I think the people that made this movie were kind of tricked by the same nostalgia we all suffer from, which is, hey, what if we return to that point in our lives where we experienced that magic? But the truth is that you can't go back to that time. It's over. It's past. You can't go home. Your dog's dead. Your best friend is a gambling addict, and you have gout.
And dad's a pedophile. And Alec Baldwin killed a lady.
Sometimes when you're watching a reboot or a sequel or a video game movie, you think to yourself, this isn't too bad. But there's always this nagging feeling like it didn't need to get made. And also, wouldn't it be nice if there were some movies that weren't this? You go into the theater and you watch the trailers, and it's the live action prequel to The Lion King and a movie based on Minecraft, and you walk by a few posters for movies about Spider-Man villains where there's no Spider-Man. The fact that you go into a movie hoping you see the stuff from a different movie is its own little existential crisis where you're like, this is all we do anymore. We're just going to see fan service, as opposed to opening ourselves up to a new idea and hoping to have a new experience. We're just kind of chasing this nostalgia, and it makes it feel like you're in purgatory. It makes it feel like you're in this bizarre in-between liminal space where you're an adult, but you're not an adult, and you're just reliving the past, but worse.
They exploit our inability to let go. Instead of writing new stories, they rob the graves of our favorite characters and they molest their corpses. Write a movie called Corpse Molester. Okay? That's an original idea.
That's a good idea.
Okay? So many people are reviewing this going, hey, it's not the original, but it's fun. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You're a liar.
You.
You. You're lying. You're a liar.
If you're gonna see Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, at least see it with Lauren Boebert so you can get whacked off.
In conclusion, instead of seeing Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, why not just see Beetlejuice and wait for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Perhaps that will be better. Stay tuned for the next video where we rank the best popcorn buckets to have sex with. Obviously Dune. It's Dune. Number 1 is Dune.
Have you seen Alien Romulus?
No.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a big cock.
That doesn't make sense.
Think about the alien.
So women can have sex with the bucket.
Anybody can with a little bit of butter product. Lube that baby up.
I'm like, we gotta go. We're late for the movie. You're like, hang on a minute.